Hello, everyone, and welcome to twitch.tv/HobbyBoxBurns. I am Joe Burns, HobbyBoxBurns, and we are here and ready and raring to go to jump back into the final 3 quests. This is the last bits of MSQ for the Shadowbringers expansion of Final Fantasy XIV. Hope you all are having a good Friday evening. I know I am, especially now that my microphone is on and working. That definitely helps things. So we are here in Mordona and getting ready to make our way through the final build-up to Endwalker. I'm really curious to see where they're going to leave things at for Endwalker. So now we just got to find... Hey, Baby Smell, how are you doing tonight? Alright, so I'm going to guess this is in the Rising Sands. I mean, it almost has to be, right? Right. Maybe not, though. Or are they out... They actually might be out of town. Oh, no, there we are. Okay, we're good. We're good. It's been a while. I can't remember where we were at. So let's follow up with everybody here and see what's happening here. If I am to pursue this course, I must be prepared for the hardships that lie ahead. There we go. Estinian? If you've need of my lance, I'll be ready. If not, I'll be reserving my strength in preparation of the next battle. But since you're here, I have a question. The Scions are in close contact with the East Eldenard Trading Company of Kugane, yes? I was wondering if they could place an order for some sun-dried squid. I don't seem to be able to find it in these parts. He's a squid fan, apparently. Though we know not the full extent of the Telephoroi's schemes, preventing further abductions must take precedence above all else, for therein lieth the key to depriving our enemy of its most potent weapon. And... Grahatia? The sudden appearance of the towers will surely not have escaped the forum's notice. I would like to think they would be receptive to Kryle's request for cooperation in investigating the matter, but unfortunately their reputation would suggest otherwise. Yeah, so we got to see a little bit of the Sharlayan Council. It strikes me as odd that rather than marching on one of the city-states, the Telephoroi have so far made only sporadic attacks. I doubt they'd go to the trouble of putting up all those towers if that was all they had in store for us. We did get a little bit of Sharlayan in the Endwalker trailer. None can deny that Heidelin's blessing has been a great boon to our cause, but much remains unknown with regard to her true intentions. Given everything that we learned from our encounters with the Ascians, we must keep our minds open to any and all possibilities. Tataru? As of this moment, you are under strict orders to get as much rest as possible. After all, we need Our Lady fighting fit when the Telephoroi rear their ugly heads again. Well, we got plenty of rest. The company we keep, Alice can tell you, are itching to take the fight to the Telephoroi. So I was trying to remember, because I remember them popping up before. I can't for sure remember how the Telephoroi popped up previously. Callista, you're looking well. I take it you've managed to squeeze in some rest. If you came hoping for tidings from Kryle, I'm afraid we're still waiting. But we do have some odd scraps of news to share. Scraps, she says. Lunar primals have been popping up all over the place, but the Alliance has the situation well in hand, thanks in no small part to Hoary Boulder and the others. Meanwhile, talks with the Beast Tribes are going even better than expected. Encouraged by Uldal's progress with the Amalja, Gridania has opened negotiations with the Ixal, believe it or not. All of which is obviously very encouraging. But with the Telephoroi still out there, it's not as if we can afford to lower our guard. Diddly-oo, diddly-oo. We're talking silently. The players don't know what we're saying. Here is Cryle. Oh no. Begging your pardon, but I come bearing an invitation from the Alliance. A council meeting is due to be held in Alamigo, and your attendance is humbly requested. Ah, we were just talking about the Alliance. May I ask what's on the agenda? I believe the intention is to share news of recent developments and discuss what measures might be taken to combat the Telephoroi, in concert with our new allies. The Beast Tribes have also been invited. This is going to be a big table. It is hoped that they will join us in the fight against our common foe. So the Alliance would bring all of the Beast Tribes into the fold at a single stroke. An ambitious plan given the delicacy of the negotiations, but mayhap an expedient one, considering the threat we face. Indeed, my lady, and for their part I am told the Beast Tribes have agreed to attend. If the Scions too are present, all of Eorzea will be represented. To arrange such a meeting must have been quite an undertaking, not only diplomatically, but practically. Pray inform the Alliance that we would be honored to participate. We shall make for Alamigo without delay. Then I will bear your answer thither with all haste. We look forward to receiving you at the Royal Palace. So all of us in one space. Perfect opportunity for a mass attack. Well, now that we've accepted the invitation, who exactly is going to attend? I move that you and Y'shtola lead our contingent. Given how long you have worked and summoning, it is only right that you be present for what promises to be a historic moment. I think we've all played our part in that little endeavor, don't you, Callista? I know I have. All present may rightly claim a seat. I do quite agree. But by your leave, I believe I shall remain here and lend what assistance I can to the coordination of our defensive efforts. I'm not coming either. Emmerich will be there, and I'd rather not be interrogated. Very well, then. While those with a mind to hold the fort get on with holding it, I suggest the rest of us make for Alamigo, shall we? Yes, we shall all go to Alamigo! Alamigo! Don't forget to bring me something nice from Alamigo. Estinian, what do you guys say now? Probably not about squid anymore. Don't worry, I have no plans to return to roaming in your absence. I know you'd only chase me if I did. I shall take this opportunity to gain better understanding of Sir Estinian. Being Elezen of like age, 'tis possible we have interests in common. Mayhap I shall begin by lending him a favorite treatise or two from my collection. Oh, good luck with that, Urianger. Good luck with that. Those two are like polar opposites. Like, the only thing they have in common is that they're Elezen. And I guess that they're both Scions now. We sent Coltene and the others to be our eyes and ears in the field. Wherever the Telephoroi appear next, we'll be among the first to know. Well, why aren't you there, Riol? You're the scouter. I've been keeping me good eye on the towers and telling others to do the same. Course, I don't mean just the Scions. I've got a whole network of scouts to keep me informed. Alice has been teaching me how to cure tempering using a porksy. I must say, the thought of being in such close proximity to one of the afflicted is rather daunting. Rather daunting. Although Arenvald and I both served as Scions, I'm afraid that I have had few opportunities to speak with the lad. I do hope he is fit to return to active duty soon. Sometimes sharing a common ancestry is all people need. That's true. When the tower rose up in Yangsha, my first thought was to stay in Doma to keep my grandfather safe. But when we heard the news of Bahamut's return, He bid me return to the Rising Stones to aid my fellow scions. He sends his regards, by the way. Aenor. Hoary Boulder certainly cut a fine figure as he set off on his latest mission. I was sad to see him leave, and my nights will be lonelier with just the one brother to keep me company. Gross. Those weird scion fangirls. Such a strange thing. Nothing but simping for the boulders. All right, so to Ala Migo, and it's pretty much every time we get the whole group together around a table, bad things can tend to happen. So we'll find out if this is another one of those times. I have a feeling. I mean, this is all about introducing complications for Endwalker. Something's going to happen. Could be wrong, but I have a feeling. Alright, time to pay the iron price and take our trip to the Alamigan Quarter here. Alright, up over there, as per usual. A little zoomed in here. Well, I've got to talk to somebody here, but Oh, over there. It's over there. Okay. That's why. Huh. I suppose I am. And the fact that our cure for tempering made it possible only heightens my anticipation. Supposed to talk to Alice first, I guess. Honestly, the look on your face. Eager to bear witness to another historic moment, by any chance? Then he says his thing. Elfino? Even with the swift intervention of the immortal flames, all too many lost their lives at Paglathan. Still closer cooperation between our peoples will be required if we are to thwart the plans of the Telephoroi. Like the city-states, every beast tribe has its factions, each with their own agenda, making peace a complex proposition. But if the Alliance can come to an understanding with their leaders, it will be for them to resolve internal politics. The Amal Jar cannot be the only tribe to have been targeted by the Telephoroi, and none of them will have taken kindly to having their people enslaved, nor their gods turned against them. And so I'm guessing, is this? Oh no, this is the ruby weapon stuff. Okay, pick that up at a different time then. Yes, the car is coming back soon, August. Everybody will have their second chance to grind. So, okay, heads up. Make sure you have, I think it was 20,000 MGP. You can build that up for then, so then you don't have to grind MGP like I had to in order to get it. So have that MGP built up in order to get the car. The other stuff like I believe it was only 20,000 MGP, so it's not bad. Especially if you normally do the gold saucer stuff. And it might be a different price this time. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that's what it was last time. Maybe it was 40k? It wasn't a ton. Okay, maybe it wasn't that then. Maybe it was 2 million? I knew I had to grind it for a while. It might have been 2 million MGP then? Or 200,000? It had a 2 in it. Because I was doing the fashion reports, I was doing all the gates, I was doing like everything. We have been expecting you. While some few guests have yet to arrive, the Alliance leaders are all present. Shall I show you in? Oh, we don't even get to say yes. It's just, we're showing you in. Yeah, it might have been 2 million MGP then. It was a grind for a while. Maybe it was 200,000? Hey, the pixies. It's no way for a leader to look, Elise.
Esteemed guests, you honor us with your presence. As there is much to discuss, let us begin.
Information on our taken brethren you have, yes? Hear it we would! Beyond forgiveness these featherless ones are! With rivers of blood shall they pay. Freed our people must be!
We too would see your kin liberated. But ere we attempt their rescue, we must first find a means to negate the risk of tempering. Without that, we will be unable even to approach the towers, let alone contend with their defenders.
If all else fails, I've always found cannonballs quite effective.
Oh, Morrowind.
And what of the prisoners? Would you see them slaughtered?
Think for a moment. Ponder, consider, think. If Merlwyb truly intended to bombard the towers, she would have done so by now. Remember, we came here to find a solution together, did we not?
Leave it to the kobold to be the voice of reason.
Ystala spoke of defenders. I but offered a means to clear a path, should you require it.
Given the enemy's capabilities, we will all need to play our part if we are to have any chance of success. For if any here should give less than their best, it will be to the cost of every living being on this star.
A paragon, the Empire, our very gods. How can we hope to prevail against such odds?
That our foe is formidable, none would deny. But our strengths are many and varied. In this chamber, I see masters of strategy, masters of magic, masters of the land, the air, and the sea.
And the hand.
And together, there is nothing in creation we cannot overcome.
Quite the collection of people here. Yes. The Sahagin love the crab claw heads. Uh-oh. Is that a mating call?
I beg your pardon?
What is it, Soulwalker? Do not express your passion thus. A little Chrissy will have deals, perhaps.
Oh, I love that this is
I
voiced.
am proud to be counted amongst Eorzea's finest. We Sahagin will play our part.
We kobolds have not forgotten the crimes the Overdwellers committed against us in the past. But today we look to the future as allies united in purpose.
Make mock of the Ixal the Paragon does! Turns kin into puppets! Pits brother against brother! Free them from his grasp, we shall!
As Patriarch Zadar will attest, the Scions have granted us a means to free your brethren from their thraldom. This boon we will gladly share, that your people might never be enslaved again.
We accept! We accept!
Praise me!
This is going swimmingly. And that's when the attack happened.
It's taken a while, but I do believe we might be one step closer to a world without primals. Would that Minfilia were here to see it.
We still have a long way to go, and we're going to need a lot more porksies. But we're moving in the right direction.
If I may have your attention, there is one other point I would like to raise. As we can all agree, freeing those held captive must take precedence over every other concern.
Whenever I hear this song now, I can only ever hear Elidibus's final speech. I've seen it too many
Experience
times.
has taught us that none save those with the capacity to resist tempering can hope to enter the towers unscathed. And even once inside, a still greater threat may yet await them, that which we call a primal. Needless to say, if we are to succeed, engaging with such foes can only ever be considered a last resort. And so I move that we seek to prevent them from being summoned in the first place.
Yes! Both prayer and ether are needed for the ritual. Should either one be denied, the summoning would fail.
Indeed. And so we must endeavor to discover the source of the ether on which the process depends. Do so, and it may present a way to halt the summonings, or perhaps even neutralize the towers entirely.
Well, and we know how the ether is being supplied.
A promising proposal.
Living sacrifices.
While you are conducting your investigations, however, we will need to remain vigilant, lest the Telophoroi commit further abductions and summon primals ere we have the means to prevent them. To stand a better chance of keeping our enemy at bay, we would do well to coordinate our defensive efforts, sending reinforcements to assist our neighbors when needed.
We Amalja would have been overwhelmed were it not for our newfound allies. But say the word, and we shall come.
That has to be Raban's voice actor. Like, it sounds way too close to him to not be.
I see we are all in accord. But what are we to call this proud fellowship of ours? I submit that the honor of naming it should go to the scion whose brave efforts have done so much to unite Eorzea. What say you, my friend?
Oh wow, I get to name it. We actually don't know how the towers are getting their ether. The prisoners is how they're getting the prayers. Got it. Got it. That makes sense. The Grand Company of Eorzea. I would call it one moment, please. I mean, we already have Grand Companies, though, but this is the Grand Company. So the T and the should be capitalized.
But that's the name I...
It's an homage.
A fine choice, for there is none here who does not love Eorzea.
Aye, in that we shall ever be united.
United in our gratitude for the realm that gave us life.
Then let it be recorded that on this day, the Grand Company of Eorzea was born.
That is true. Oh, Elfino's so happy. Alright. Elfino stands up. Which one of you fucks is Ilbert?
Of this moment. And now that it's here, oh, forgive me. Might we speak outside?
Who's gonna betray me? Elfino getting all misty-eyed. That is true. Charlian is not, but I suppose it's the type of thing where they've lived here and fought for here long enough that they count themselves as being Eorzeans. The Grand Company of Eorzea. I wonder what Real and the other former Crystal Braves will make of it. We have won over the leaders. Now the leaders must win over their own people. No small task, I grant you. But we have come a long way since first we joined with Minfilia to bring an end to summoning. A long, long way. Forgive me for observing, but Alphino seems less than jubilant. Might his thoughts still be occupied by the fate of poor Arenvald? Probably. It's a pity it took the threat of annihilation for everyone to cast their grievances aside. But better late than never, I suppose. Yeah, it's just like Independence Day. Even then, not everybody was on board. Well, now that we are out of earshot of the other delegates, I hope you will forgive me if I speak my mind. Let me begin by saying that I have dreamed of this day since the moment I first set foot upon these shores, and that I was as heartened as anyone to see the peoples of Eorzea pledge their solidarity. Yet even as they uttered their declarations, all I could think about was the conflict to come, of the sacrifices that would be made, and the lives lost. Inevitabilities that I still struggle to accept. But at least now there is hope. The formation of the Grand Company of Eorzea is the first step. The first of many. Many and more. Elder Seedseer, how may we be of service? I seek Master Alphino's assistance in a matter involving Gridania's neighbors, the Sylphs. I know that you and yours have long kept a weather eye upon the crystal trade, the better to predict the coming of primals, and so you will be familiar with the Sylphs of the Ashcrown Consortium. Through their dealings, they have cultivated relations not only with the city-states, but many other communities besides. Communities such as the Beast Tribes. Just so. It is our hope that we may make use of the Sylphs' established lines of communication to coordinate the efforts of the new fellowship. Yet there remain certain practical differences between a trade consortium and a grand company. If the Sylphs are to perform their task effectively, they will require the counsel of one versed in the operational aspects of an armed force. An armed force founded with the selfsame goal in mind, no less. The Crystal Braves, yes. Forgive me, Master Alphino. I know that it was a painful chapter in your life, but the experience may yet be made to serve the realm. In my hubris, I plotted a course for the Crystal Braves which stretched far beyond the Order's initial conception. One intended to pave the way for the founding of what I intended to call the Grand Company of Eorzea. But my plans all came to naught. Built upon a frail foundation of lofty ideals, the Order was doomed from the first to collapse under the weight of more worldly interests. And I have no wish to see this new endeavor suffer the same fate. Mayhap I ask too much of you? Not at all. You may count upon my assistance for what little it is worth. By your leave, I shall prepare a report, including a list of recommendations drawing on the lessons I learned from the failures of the Crystal Braves. You have my gratitude, Master Alphino, and my trust. When your report is ready, pray share it directly with the Sylphs. With your guidance and the earnest efforts of every goodly soul gathered here this day, I have no doubt but that our fellowship shall emerge from the shadow of the Telophoroi and flourish. Until next we meet, my friends. Ah! Before committing anything to writing, there are a number of people whose thoughts I should like to hear. Former Braves, you understand. Might you join me in seeking them out? As if you had to ask. I can't think of an excuse not to, so yes. I mean, I'm in it to win it now. Thank you. As someone who witnessed the Order's rise and fall, yours would be a reassuring presence. I'll join you. If you're planning to canvass the opinions of your former comrades, it will be a lot quicker if we share the task of questioning them. Then mayhap Graha can lend a hand as well. I shall accompany Thancred back to the Rising Stones. Between us, I dare say we should be able to provide an accurate enough account of the day's events. We should be glad of your company, Graha. I shall explain the details on the way. Bye. See, Thancred says goodbye. Y'shtol's just like, bolt away. Time to leave. It will not be easy to revisit the past, but sometimes one must look back to see the way forward. So what all happened with this Crystal Braves thing? It sounded bad. I take it we will soon be paying the Sylphs a visit. How fascinating it will be to speak with them in person, though I gather conversation can prove rather challenging. So, what's the plan, brother mine? Before discussing the task at hand, I should probably admit that the report I proposed is largely written. Not long after that fateful day in Uldar, I penned a detailed account of the organization's history, from the events that led to its inception to the failings that brought about its demise. This I did primarily as a means of taking some semblance of responsibility. Never did I imagine that I might later be referred to by those seeking to form a similar organization. And while I made every attempt to be objective, the account was mine alone, its events viewed from my singular perspective. For it to be of use, however, I must be broadened to encompass the viewpoints of all involved. Only then can it answer what seems to me to be the crucial question. Namely, why, after the Crystal Braves disbanded, did some members choose to remain with us while others did not? I see. You think the answer would tell us something about the nature of the ties that bind our new Grand Company together, and that this knowledge might help us to prevent it from falling apart when those bonds are inevitably tested. That is my hope, yes, but the questions I would ask are uncomfortable to some. As the former commander of the Crystal Braves, I doubt that those who abandoned the cause would welcome my inquiries. Then Graha and I will just have to try. Meanwhile, the two of you can talk to the ones who kept the faith. A fine suggestion. Have care, however. Certain of my former comrades are of questionable character, so keep your wits about you and let us reconvene in Gridania later on. If you have no objections, I've a mind to begin by speaking with Riol and Aliane. If memory serves, the two of them will be attending an intelligence briefing at Castrum Oriens. Let us seek them out there. Now we have to remember which one of these castrums this was at. Or we just go to the journal. That works too. The company we keep. Oh, okay. Back here. Alright, so we'll go back to the Fringers. You'd like me to watch a video about Guild Wars 2? It does a better job explaining what it has to offer. It's only 12 minutes long, so you can watch it. Yeah. Send it to me, like whisper it to me in Twitch, and then I'll leave like the notification up, and then I'll check on it after we're done streaming tonight and take a look at it. All right, so let's fly invisibly. Oh, there we go. Oh no, I spent money! Shame. Oh, I got too hyped. Boop, 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 boop. That's actually the first time. I bought it when it was on sale during the, what do you call it? During FanFest. So it was like 30... Was it 28 or 38? I think it was 38, and I think the regular... Or 37, and the regular price is 42. But it's just too cool. And, like, I really enjoyed Final Fantasy IV. Even though I still haven't beaten it. I really enjoyed it, so... Yeah, I don't know. Too many connections for me. It looks ugly to you? Yeah, I mean, if you don't have nostalgia for it, it's not the greatest of mounts. And not very interesting. I can see that. I can understand that. Okay. It's been a while since we've been back here. What's up, Riol? We just saw you not too long ago at the Rising Stones. Remember us? Well, look who it is. And what brings you two here? Wouldn't have anything to do with the big meeting, would it? In a manner of speaking, I have been assigned a task, you see, for which I require the assistance of former members of the Crystal Braves. There we go. So you want to know why we decided to stick with the Scions, eh? Ain't an easy thing to put into words, that. As Riol will attest, I spent a long time agonizing over my failure to alert you to the traitors in our midst. For my negligence, I was captured along with many others, and we were powerless to prevent the tragedies that ensued. Not a day goes by that I do not think back to those fateful events. By joining the Scions, I hoped to redeem myself, and I will continue to serve the cause for as long as I am able. But that wasn't my only reason. I'm in love with you, Elfino. Now I've told you. When we were finally reunited at the Rising Stones, you refused to blame anyone but yourself for the fall of the Crystal Braves. And in spite of everything that happened, everything you had suffered, you took us back without a moment's hesitation. We would not have blamed you had you turned us away, but when you gave us your trust instead, what else could we do but try to repay it? Nothing, that's what. As for my own tale, well, I've always felt the Scions have something in common with me old crew. The duty of the strong is to protect the weak. That was our creed, and I still strive to live by it to this day. But as time's gone on, I've learned that strength comes in many shapes and sizes. From Hoary Boulder to Mistress Tataru, we've all of us got something to offer. And not one of us is doing it for personal gain, because we believe there's more important things than that. Things worth protecting, which is what being a Scion's all about. I am at a loss for words. Thank you, my friends. To hear this from you means more than you know. Forgive me, Callista, could you... kill them? Sure. All the Crystal Braves must die. Give us your thoughts on the Crystal Braves. Why do you think the Crystal Braves... Yes, why do you think the Crystal Braves ended in failure? Straight out with it. Well, it's founding ideals or something to be proud of. But ideals alone don't make a crew. For every swab who signed up with good intentions, there was another who was only in it for the coin, the glory, or both. Ours was quite a disparate band, and while I will never forgive Ilberd, the fact that we managed to function at all was thanks in large part to his efforts. Just a pity he was doing it all for all the wrong reasons, eh? Only takes one bad apple, they say, and the Braves had a barrel full of them. Not like the Scions. We might look like a ragtag band of misfits, but deep down, we've all got that shared sense of purpose. And why? 'Cause Tataru sifted out all the glory hunters before they made it through the door. It's like they say, Tataru's the only thing holding us all together. I see. So while all ranks comprise a diverse range of people, each with their own individual strengths, we are all united in purpose. Thank you, my friends. With your permission, I shall make a record of our discussion and refer to it when drafting my recommendations. Until we meet again. Your character would first punch their other hand first, then not. Yes, that's true. That is true. Those are the only animations they have for it. Alright. A third of the way through. After the company of heroes went their separate ways, I did try working on me own for a bit. And I'll admit, it was nice being able to pick me own battles. But if you want to make a real difference, you need to find a good crew and stick with them. Alian, speaking of formal crystal braves, I have not seen Ergmus of late. Constantly away on missions as he is. I wonder how he fares. On official business, Elfino is keen to hear what Alice and Grahatia have learned from the Braves who turned their back on the cause. Well, I think we have taken up enough of our colleagues' time, and I am conscious that less life-affirming testimonies await. Let us make our way to Gridania and hear what the others have learned. Okay. Hey, we don't have to pay for this trip. Woo! That's like what they do in like action movies, right? When someone's powering up, it does like the spin around 360-degree camera. Teleportation. I think I'm losing my mind. Alright, they said they're in Gridania. Why are they in Old Gridania? Doobie Dingledorf. All the names. Alright. To the Lancers Guild, then. When's the next time I'm going to stream? So I will be streaming tomorrow. Not 100% sure what time, but it'll probably be during the day. And so I think the plan would be probably sometime. I'm trying to think of what my day looks like. Probably sometime maybe like noonish Central Time. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to jump back into Megami Digital Devil story, Megami Tensei, and do a few hours, see if I can't beat the Minotaur, and see what the next location looks like. And so that is the plan. And then Monday, might do a longer stream during the day, because right now I don't have much for plans, and figured it would be a fun day to do a long stream. And so not 100% sure what I'm going to do with that stream yet. If I'll want to keep going with Megami Tensei, or jump back into Xenogears and do that for a while, or jump into this. I'm not quite where I want to be to do another crafting stream. So then maybe it would be if I felt like playing Boja for a while, after I do that tonight for a little bit. Maybe do that. We'll see what happens. On the way here, I took the opportunity to write up my notes from our conversation with Alian and Riol. All that remains is to add Alice and Graha's findings, whatever they may be. When Alice sets her mind on something, there is no stopping her, and her mind was truly set on finding former Braves. For a while, I even feared what she might do to them, But in the event, she was admirably civil, for the most part. Thanks to Tataru's ever-dependable intelligence, we managed to track down a handful of former Braves without any great difficulty. Some were forthright, others less so, but we heard enough to form a picture. I must warn you, Elfino, some of their comments were harsh. Yeah, there's still a lot I need to do in 14. Boja, Wurlet raids, Nier raids, and then moving forward from that, also the Rabanastra raids, and before that, the Void Ark stuff. Yeah, I do have a lot that I want to do yet. I mean, I'm gonna keep playing. I mean, for sure. So I have my my account is up until I think June 22nd, and then at that point I'm going to decide: do I just keep it rolling for another 6 months? Do I let it lapse for a little bit and jump back in a little bit later in the summer? Still kind of on the fence. We'll see what I can get through for some of that stuff. And I haven't decided fully yet what I want to stream and what I just want to play kind of on my own. So we'll have to see. There's also some other, like, I really want to get Red Mage to 80. And then I'd like to level up another class. So a healer or a tank of some sort. So I have my Paladin at 30, and then I have my, so I have White Mage I'm going to keep for partying, questing with, my friend Tom whenever he gets an account back. So then it would be leveling Scholar up from 30, or 31, I think Scholar is. Alright, comments were harsh, Alphino. I can well imagine, but their opinions are no less vital to my report. I seek the unvarnished truth. Here it is. Thank you. I will set about adding your findings to my own at once. In the meantime, pray go ahead to Little Solus and seek out Elder Frixio. I will join you anon. Elder Frixio. Alright, East Shroud. Oh, we started teleporting at the same time. And it's a Dragoon too. I've got a doppelganger here. And if we pop up in like the same spot, which there's a likelihood if they're standing right in this spot. I see you. I see you. Oh, that's amusing to me. Probably shouldn't be that amusing, but it was amusing to me. I mean, we have like almost the same exact gear too. Just like he has the male version. Whoop. So we got Alice here and Graha. Oh, there he is. Now that I think about it, the four of us, only you and Alphino have any real experience in conversing with the sylphs. Still, it can't be that hard, can it? I don't know, it's been so long, Alice. I don't really remember talking to these people. I remember talking to them, I don't remember how they talk. Though I had the honor of sharing a table with Elder Frixio and Alamigo, I did not have an opportunity to speak with him. I do hope my studies have granted me a sufficient grasp of his people's customs. What's up, Frixio? Ah, welcome, Brave One and friends of Brave One. How good it is to see Walking Ones again so soon after the meeting. Yeah, I was gonna say, that was news to me, too. Should this one perform the customary dance of greeting? No, be at ease. It is true that these ones once delighted in making Walking Ones dance, but no more. That's what I thought too. A leafy grandma. Horned one Connie Senna said that walking ones would be coming to Little Solace. Imperial ones also invaded Sylphlands and abducted many of these ones, so these ones will be glad to bear messages between fighting friendly ones. That is heartening to hear, Elder. It will require all ones to work in unison to stop the Telephoroi. These ones will try very hard, of course, but in matters of war, these ones have little experience. Any advice walking ones can provide would be most welcome. Stick 'em with the pointy end. Oh, another pretty silver-haired one. And in quite a hurry, it seems. Uh-oh. Alice, you must come quickly. Whatever's the matter, Elfino? Don't tell me you couldn't read my handwriting. What? No, a Twin Adder officer accosted me as I was about to set out. Charlian has sent an envoy who is due to arrive in Gridania at any moment. An envoy? Could it be that Kryl has managed to sway the Forum? We shall know soon enough, but there is more. The envoy has requested that the two of us attend the audience with the Elder Seedseer. Really? I can see why they might want Scions to be present, but us specifically? Wait, it isn't who I think it is. It is. I could scarce believe it myself, but when I inquired as to the envoy's identity, I was told it was one Fortunat Levellier. Your father? Well now, the fact that a serving member of the Forum had journeyed here would be surprise enough, but him? Quite. I glean from this that they are taking the matter seriously. That may be, but why him and not one of the other 98 Forum members? Unless he volunteered for it. It has been some time since you last saw your father, has it not? Could it be that he is concerned for your well-being? Perhaps, but he has always been reluctant to discuss his work with us. Indeed, and whenever we write to our parents, it is invariably our mother who replies. Nevertheless, I welcome the opportunity to meet with him after so long, even if it is secondary to his true purpose here. Elder Frixio, loath though I am to cut our visit short, we must return to Gridania. Pray accept my apologies along with my report. Never mind. There will be time to talk later. This one won't keep walking ones from more urgent matters. Go. Go, go, go. The audience will be held at the Lotus Stand, where the Elder Seedseer awaits even now. Let us be on our way. Just jumping around the shroud. Jumping around the shroud. Back and forth, back and forth. Walking ones may think this one's home is small, but this one has biggest home of all. The forest itself is this one's home. What does walking one think of that? Don't mind this one. Walking one should head back to Gridania with the others. If this one has any questions about the report, this one will be sure to send word. Alright, well, back we go. And now we get to go back to the garden. It's been a while since we've been back there, too. Pre-Shadowbringers. Somebody passed out there, didn't they? You do wonder if these curveballs we keep getting with the genders of Beastmen is unique to the American localization, with Titania being referenced to as a king and Frixio being referred to as a he. It could be. It could be maybe that there's words for that aren't as gendered. And then the translation is just that for us. I'm not sure. Okay. Conjurer's Guild. Welcome, Warrior of Light. The Elder Seedseer and your friends are waiting within. Well, now we get to meet Papa Levelier. Just wonder if that literal blue hair we saw at the Fan Fest has something to do with it. I doubt it. I would highly doubt that. I'm sure a lot of it's just because, well, so like the Pixies were all theys anyway, and so I'm guessing like a king could be just any sort of leader, even though it has more of a gendered connotation. And then yeah, Frixio, it's just that while the like character model looks matronly, right? Like a grandma, like you said. It's just assumptions that were made. When, you know, you think about it, granted, it's been a long time since I did any of the Pixie stuff. There's nothing that specifically made it seem like it was a she, right? Or he was a she. After all this time away, it will be good to see my father, even if it is at an official meeting. 99 may seem like rather a lot of members, but before the Forum was founded, every person of age in Charlian was given equal say in its governance. Many of the institutions that are still active today were established by the people's vote, not least the Studium. As Alice and I were constantly reminded during our time there, it is an example of what can be achieved through absolute democracy. During my time in Charlian, I heard much of Fortunato Levelet. He is a gifted speaker, known amongst other things for the uncompromising application of foreign policy. Oh, so he's like the head of Robert's Rules of Orders for the Charlians. He's got to be a pleasure to be around. He's the parliamentarian. My friends, I thank you all for coming so swiftly. Word of Master Fortunatos' visit took us quite by surprise. When the Alliance granted Mistress Kryl permission to request Charlian aid, we did not anticipate so prompt a reply, much less that it would be delivered by a member of the Forum. What the nature of that reply may be, we shall soon discover. Absolute democracy would be terrible, especially in a multicultural society. Well, yes, definitely. But that's the difference. Like, Charlian, I don't think, is a multicultural society. I could be wrong. But that's not the impression I've ever had of it. Lots of people of different societies go there to study. But I do not think that Charlian is very multicultural. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, because I have not studied it at all.
Elder Seedseer, I thank you for granting me this audience. I am Fortunato Leveilleur, here in my capacity as representative of the Forum.
It is I who should thank you, Master Fortunato, for journeying so far and so swiftly. Would that our first meeting could have been under happier circumstances.
It has been too long, Father. You look well.
As do you both. Ameliance will be glad to hear that you are taking care of yourselves.
How is Mother?
She misses you terribly, of course, but is otherwise a picture of health. Circumstances apart, I'm grateful that our meeting has afforded me the chance to be reunited with my children at long last. And I believe I also owe you thanks for the hospitality you showed my father, Louisois, during his sojourn in Eorzea.
All thanks we owe to him. In the days prior to the 7th Umbral Calamity, it was your father's tireless efforts which granted us a means to vanquish the Primals. Were it not for him, our strength would have been quite spent by the time the Empire arrived. That Gridania still stands is in large part his achievement. He was a great man.
He would doubtless have been moved to hear you say so. I must confess, however, that I opposed his decision to intervene.
I mean, of course you did. In true Sharlayan fashion.
And my position remains unchanged.
We are Swiss. We must be Swiss. Neutrality at all costs.
To chart the course of history, not to change it. I am familiar with the Sharlayan stance.
It is more than that. It is our way of life. Who we are. But I came here not to deliver a lecture, but the Forum's answer to your request. Sharlayan will under no circumstances intervene in the conflict between Eorzea and the Garlean Empire.
Well, at least he did it in person. It's nice.
May I ask for what reason the Forum has come to this decision? The final days spell the end not only for Eorzea, but the entire world.
The final days? Pray spare me your hyperbole. This conflict is no more than the latest in a series of petty squabbles between yourselves and Garlemald. One in which Sharlayan will take no part. If the final days were truly upon us, we would know.
Oh, okay.
Father, you must ask the Forum to reconsider. You may feel safe on your little island across the waves, but if you imagine the Telophoroi will leave you be, you are mistaken. They mean to kill us all, themselves included.
Alphino is right. We have seen what the enemy is capable of, the lengths to which they'll go. This is no time to turn a blind eye.
Is he going to make them go home with him?
If Eorzea falls, so too will Sharlayan. So if you truly love our homeland, you will join us. Now, before it's too late.
I thought you knew better than to raise your voice to your elders. It seems I was wrong. Wrong to ever let you leave, Sharlayan. I consoled myself that your time abroad would instill in you some hint of restraint, of discipline.
Uh-oh.
But I see now that Eorzea has made fools of you both. Have you forgotten why it was that I so vehemently opposed your grandfather's departure? For all his wisdom, his only solution was to go to war. Death, devastation, ruin. Even those who claim victory are scarred for life. What prize could ever justify such sacrifice? It is the duty of the learned to avert such tragedy. By fanning the flames of war, you forsake all you once held dear.
So this is the... I'm not just mad, I'm disappointed. It's like all of it. Better to fight and fail than wait for the axe to fall. To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence. I like that one. It is in your power to save us. Refuse and you condemn us all. I like the second one.
I see
You won't
your
even talk to
friend
me.
shares your misguided ideals. But unlike her, you should know better.
Oh. Looking down your nose at me,
By
huh?
espousing such barbaric notions, you subvert the teachings of Sharlayan and place all we have worked for in jeopardy. Alphino, Alizé, as of this moment, you shall no longer bear the name of Leveilleur.
Oh, disowned.
Father. How you choose to live your lives is no longer my concern. If you wish to walk the path of ruin, I will not stand in your way.
Now who's being dramatic?
Master Fourcheneau, while Sharlayan may have no intention of intervening in this conflict, we can still part as friends. Will you not stay and speak with us, that we might learn of Sharlayan's hopes for the morrow?
Yes, he was awfully quick to disown his own flesh and blood. Very true.
I have said what I came here to say. Any further discussion would be meaningless.
Okay. So he came off as much of an asshat as he did in the thing.
Alizé.
Ooh. Elfino.
How can you stand there and watch him walk away? How can you let this happen?
Interesting. All right, well that's a neat little development. It was not so very long ago that we had a friend and neighbor in Charlian, and so I clung to the hope that she might yet lend us her strength. But when she forsook Dravanya, it would seem she forsook us all. In order to avoid conflict with Garlemald, the Forum went so far as to order the abandonment of an entire city-state. Their refusal to aid us now is, I am sorry to say, entirely consistent with their historic position. Is it we who walk the path of ruin? Time will tell. So that's what he came here to say? That we're all fools for having the temerity to defend ourselves against the Telophoroi? And as for the rest... Like it or not, this was the Forum's decision. To watch from afar while Eorzea burns. Father was but the messenger, and as he handed down their judgment, I could think of nothing to say that could possibly sway him. I still can't. To have prolonged the discussion would have changed little, for it is not only Master Foshino who must be persuaded, but the Forum as a whole. Their decision was made ere your father crossed the sea. Nor is it like to be changed, and so we shall face the Telophoroi without their aid. Forgive me, but if they had no intention of helping us, then why would they go to the trouble of sending an envoy in the first place? Why did they not simply keep their counsel, as they are wont to do? Bink, bink. You gonna answer that? Callista, has Master Foshino arrived yet? Just left. Then it is as I feared. My efforts were in vain. I pleaded our case to as many Forum members as I could, but they flatly refused to discuss the matter. No, that's not exactly true. I should rather say that they ignored every word I said on the subject without exception. It was almost unnerving. Could it be that they are hiding something from us? That might go some way to explain Master Foshino's performance. When he said that they would know if the final days were truly upon us, I dismissed it as pride. But what if they genuinely believe that they know how the world will end, and simply disagree with us about the circumstances? That I don't know, but something tells me they are not as unconcerned about the Telophoroi as they claim. If the threat weren't real, why else would they be so standoffish and secretive? I would very much like to delve deeper into this, but I'm afraid I've exhausted every avenue of inquiry. Nor have I fared any better with my other mission, researching Hydaelyn and the Ethereal Sea. I tried enlisting the help of experts in the field, but it appears the Forum has forbidden anyone from cooperating with us. Obstructed at every turn. So it would seem, but don't lose heart just yet. With all the knowledge and acquaintances we have between us, we can still find a way forward. To that end, I would like you all to join me here, when the time is right, of course. I am aware that matters of Eorzea stand on a knife edge, but with your permission, I can at least start making the necessary arrangements. I've always wanted to visit Charlian. Well, there are one or two things to take care of here first. I'm going to throw that in there. Let's not forget. As much as we want to travel to the really cool place from the video. We have to make sure things are in order here first. After which, assisting me will seem a sweet relief, I'm sure. While you attend to matters heroical, I shall see about securing entry for you all, and will let you know when everything is in order. Take care in the meantime, won't you? Your speculations give me cause to hope, yet if these seeds will bear fruit, I cannot say. While it is possible the Sharlayans hide some secret truth from us, there can be no certainty that its exposure will prompt in them a change of heart. And so for the present we must needs confront the plight in which we find ourselves. The Forum has refused our requests for aid, and it falls to us alone to contend with the Telophoroi. Even with all of Eorzea standing united, there is no guarantee that we will prevail. What does Sharlayan intend to do if we fail? So, the only other thing I can think of... Fly away on my Zephyr. Chicken fettuccine. Actually, that one looks like it's a pretty good one. We'll get the chicken fettuccine. You wouldn't be surprised that Sharlayan was multicultural. In the cinematic, at least you could see one of the Forum members was Rogadan. Okay. That could be it then. So the only other thing I can think of is, so if they technically know how, like, the final days happen, is it possible that Fortuno is saying this and being this way because he, to some extent, knows that he has to, even though he probably doesn't want to, push Alice and Elfino further in this direction? That their part to play is the part they're playing, and they need to have strong convictions in that. Like, that's the only other thing that would be maybe a somewhat redeeming thing in what he's doing. Otherwise, he was just an asshat to them. It's one of those two things. There's no in between. With their knowledge, Sharlayan could have done so much for the cause. They could have helped us to uncover the secrets of the towers and save the tempered captives within. And yet, gods! Throughout my childhood, I remember grandfather arguing with my father over Sharlayan's policy of non-intervention. And this time it was my turn to play the role. But even my grandfather could not win him over. What chance had I? If words exist that may sway him, I know not what they are. The Forum includes representatives from all of Sharlayan's central institutions. With them hindering Kryle's investigation, she will struggle to make any headway on her own. Alright, what's up, Seedseer? Death unto dawn. We get the shush. We get the shush emoji from the end of 5.0. Khan Isena seems determined not to let the disappointment of Sharlayan's rejection distract her from the task at hand. Oh, we have to hit accept, not shush. While Sharlayan's stance is indeed disappointing, we cannot allow ourselves to be distracted from the challenge before us. There is much and more to be done. I shall begin by sharing the Forum's response with my counterparts in the Alliance. Meanwhile, I would ask that the Scions... Interruption! Grave tidings, Walking Ones, grave tidings. Calm yourself, my gentle friend. What has occurred? These ones who went to see the Feathered Ones sent terrible news. Destroying Ones have appeared in Zelfatol. Destroying Ones and captured Ones and even frightful godly Ones. Feathered Ones didn't stand a chance when we were sent flapping and squawking. When did this happen? Is it too late to help them? Too late, yes, much too late. But luckily, Destroying Ones were only passing through and continued on west. Feathered Ones who did not fight were left unharmed. West. That would be Kurthus. My lady, the Ishgardians report that the Telophoroi have emerged from the eastern highlands of Kurthus and are marching at speed. Though their purpose has yet to be determined, the Cartano Flats would seem their most likely destination. Lord Emmerich has already dispatched his forces and requests our immediate support. Tell him he shall have it. The time is come for the Grand Company of Eorzea to prove its worth. She said go ahead. Well, mayhap it is a mercy that we do not have time to stew upon our misfortunes. Come, my friends, let us make haste to Cartano. Well, wait! This one almost forgot. Destroying ones were said to be led by Cackling Robed One. This one must see that all walking ones know farewell. So, Fandaniel is there. Fandaniel. Who else? It was only a matter of time before that grinning maniac showed himself again. I shall have an airship ready to bear you to Cartano. Pray see to your preparations and report to the landing with all haste. At once, my lady. Let us away. All right, time to do battle. The airship will be ready to depart ere long. I bid you make for the landing as soon as you are able, and may the 12 keep you. Now, if I was a true Final Fantasy 14 streamer, I would be taking a few minutes to do G-pose right now. Gotta get a picture in front of the altar. All right. I do need a better glamour. If I cared about that, I would have a better glamour. Though I do kind of like this outfit. I don't know. I'm fine with it. It works. My clothes are kind of everywhere. I think they match. Maybe that's showing how ignorant I am to fashion. Like, I think the hat goes with. I mean, maybe it's the gauntlets are a little different, but the colors match, like, everything. So I think it works. And the leggings match. You're just not sure what the theme of my outfit is supposed to be? I don't know. It's the last stuff I got looked kind of cool, so we'll go with it. That's the theme, I guess. I guess we'll have to go and see what the ultimate deciding factor. We'll have to go to the Gold Saucer and see how I do in a fashion report. For Dola? Come on, this will only take a moment, alright? Callista, it would seem Fordola here has come all the way to Gridania to find us. I've explained the situation, but she insists her business is urgent. Aye, and it'll be over sooner if you shut up and come with me. Fashion report would be terrible for the site. That is true, because they want, like, different things for each, like, slot. That is true. You got a point there. Oh, is this Arnvald? Oh, is he in a wheelchair?
Arnvald! I can't tell you how good it is to see you.
It arrived a lot sooner than expected, eh? The day I craned my neck up at you.
Only because you're sitting down. Unless...
Oh, so is he paralyzed?
Afraid so. The chirurgeons say I may never walk again.
So is that
Come on,
why?
Alfino, it could be worse. Besides, I didn't come here to dampen the mood. Quite the opposite. All I've ever wanted was to fight for a cause I believe in. But my fighting days are over. So I want you to fight in my stead. Be the hero I can't.
I am no hero.
That's what they all say, though. No one ever calls themselves a hero. Even the ones who eat primals for breakfast. It's for others to decide. Look, Alfino. You already are a hero. To me and countless others. We see you doing your damnedest to protect us all. And you're not alone, are you? There are people who believe in you, just as you believe in them.
We carry the dreams of many, we'll carry yours too. We'll be sure to give your regards to the Talafaroi. Some things may have changed, but the adventure isn't over. Yeah, we carry the dreams of many, we'll carry yours too.
I know what's at stake, and how many people are depending on you. But I believe in you. Believe that you'll see it through. That's why I'm entrusting my dreams to you. Like Albert and Owley once entrusted their dreams to me.
There was a time when I would have borne the weight of such expectations without a second thought. But now, I know just how heavy that burden can be. To tell the truth, I'm beginning to wonder if I chose the right path. Sacrifices will inevitably be made for the sake of the ideals I uphold. Maybe I am not the person I thought I was. The person you think I am.
I wouldn't presume to tell you. But I will say this. In spite of everything, you've come this far. The road ahead might not always be clear, but you've never been one to give up or take the easy way out. And everything you do for others. For a brighter future. I'm proud to call you my friend. Well, I've said my piece, so I'll let you go. I know you've got more important things to be doing. Just give what I've said some thought, all right?
I shall, my friend. And we will meet again soon, I promise.
Nothing left for me to do but wave and smile.
You've got a pretty narrow view of what it means to be a hero, do you know that? You think they're all forged in the fires of battle? That it's all about being brave and killing villains? Alphino and the others will carry on their fight. But theirs isn't the only one. There are other ways you can make a difference. If you stop feeling sorry for yourself and put your bloody mind to it.
Fordola Redemption Arc.
There's not much chance of me living the quiet life with you around, is there?
If you're content to twiddle your thumbs thinking of what might have been, that's your lookout. But I reckon you've got some fight left in you.
And I reckon you might be right. If there's a way I can still help my friends, I'll bloody well find it.
He could make a job change and become a black mage now. That was really good. Just sit in the ley lines. Cast spells are involved. Yeah, that scene was really good. So my guess then is what precludes to the class change for Elfino is he wants to try to learn how to heal so that he could try to heal Arnvald, is my guess then now. Yeah, I really do like what they did with, like, even earlier in the expansions too, or in the post-expansion content. He can already heal, but, like, he wants to learn, like, more, which is why, you know, he ends up doing, like, the Sharlayan stuff, which is what Sage looks like, you know? I rather doubt that Fordola obtained the Kyrugian's permission before bringing Arenvald halfway across the realm. And solely to deliver a message at that. They should both have known better. But what's done is done, and I will not soon forget his words. Alright, into battle. Right. Yeah, that he wants to try to... He wants to take on something different to try to see if there's secrets there. Like, at this point, he would be like a level 80 scholar, right? / summoner. And so, at this point, then, he doesn't know any of, like, the knowledge that he could from those classes. You know, and the classes stuff is all, like, meta, right, in the game, but... After Poglathon, I had assumed the Telephoroi would continue to target settlements, but it is plain they considered Zelphatal a mere obstacle on the road to Cartano. Wait. Or what, then, draws them to the flats? We must keep a close eye on their movements. That's plausible, but you doubt that's the actual reason he changes? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what basis they give behind it. You can tell me later what that was all about, but judging by the set of Elfino's jaw, it appears to have done him some good. Thancred and the others have already left the Rising Stones, and according to the communications officer, Amalja and Kobold forces are also bound for Cartano as we speak. They mean to keep the promise they made in Alamigo, and we must do the same, by saving as many of their tempered kin as possible. Anyway, the airship is ready to depart. We should get going. Upon joining the battle at Cartano, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to participate in the battle and view these scenes in their entirety. Your progress through the battle will be saved at certain points. In the event that you are defeated, you will be able to try again from the most recent of these. Okay. How generous. Please note that if you enter battles associated with other quests or log out from the game, your progress will be lost. So don't log out. Death unto dawn. Proceed. All right.
My fellow Scions, as I am sure you will have heard, we can expect no help from Sharlayan, nor are we any closer to discerning the Telophoroi's grand design. And now, our adversary moves against us in unprecedented numbers, compelling us to answer in kind. The outlook, in short, is bleak. Yet though our foes are many, and we but few, we may still tip the balance in Eorzea's favor.
Of course. We will do what we always do. Deal with the ones our allies can't. A less than daunting prospect, judging by your expression. Could it be that you've dispelled your lingering doubts, Alfino?
a new determination. Such an inspiring speech.
I doubt I ever will. But as my friends have kindly reminded me, I have come this far, and that must count for something.
Inspiring speech. The situation is shit, guys.
Gods be good, Alphino. That's what we've been trying to tell you all along.
For one so bright, you can be remarkably dim at times. There is such a thing as overthinking, you know.
Oh, Alphino.
Might I suggest that we continue this conversation after the battle? It would appear that Telophoroi have already arrived.
People are dying. Maybe we should stop talking.
I'll do what I can to cure the Tempered, but they'll have to be incapacitated first.
I don't know. I tend to only kill things, not incapacitate them.
Have care, my friends, for none can say wherefore our foe did choose this fateful field to be our battleground. Whatever may transpire, pray grant him not the pleasure of deterring you.
I mean, I'm guessing it has something to do with, this is where Bahamut last was? Well, to some extent. Or it's saving on resources so they just use the same battlefield as they've used before. That too. From a programming standpoint. Oh, there's nothing in my sightseeing log around here, huh? Listen well, friends. The Telophoroi are sweeping across Cartano. As for the Ascian, he was briefly sighted above the battlefield, but has since vanished. He likely intends to watch events unfold from afar. Thus far, the movements of the Lunar Primals have proven difficult to predict. Even when poised to ambush our troops, they instead withdraw for some unknown reason. Whatever the Telophoroi's plan may be, the Primals are our primary targets. Understood. They will not elude the Scions for long.
Prepare yourself.
Let's give it our all.
It's been so long. You jamming to this bop? Alright, well that got them all, right? Oh no. I can't target him. This way. do appreciate all the work that goes into making the great music for this game and how well it's implemented. Yeah. It's like the transitions and stuff like this is what set the groundwork for what they did in like Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh, interesting. As the Scions spread out across the field, Alice and Graha take the fight to the Telophoroi. Oh, so are we going to fight as one of them now? Because the way they mixed between music and that game was masterful. And that, like, the start of that was within dungeons and stuff here, how the music would seamlessly transition from one to another. There are so many of them. I won't be curing anyone at this rate. We'll have to incapacitate them first. Okay, so we have Verflare combo, Scorch combo, Crimson Savior. Thankfully, you are overpowered while you play as a different Scion, so it doesn't feel boring. Contrary 60. Okay, I know what that and Flesh are. We'll have to figure out. So is this like gonna flip between? Okay, Verfair, Verarrow, Verstone, Verflare. Okay. And this is. Okay, so this is our melee stuff. This is gonna be our magic stuff. Do we have a gauge though? That's a good question. Alright, let's start then. Okay, there. Now I can target things. Maybe. Huh. Now we got Verflare off. Nice. Yeah, you are pretty overpowered. Okay, so it did all those things. Now I can do Verholy. Okay. Using the square ability and Contra 60 for the mobs, yeah.
Just the beginning.
Oh, I may have jumped back too soon. Oh, shoot. And then I missed for Holy and what was after that. Get this over here. Alright. It seems we have earned a moment's respite. And let us take this opportunity to cure the tempered. Okay. Send Angelo to cure the tempered. need a healer quickly. Do I just do this? Click on Angelo? Okay. Okay. I was gonna say, it wasn't like incredibly clear what I needed to do. Daniel. Do you see that? The glyph? Yes. How worried should we be? Listen well and judge for yourself. Though I can see ethereal currents, I had not thoroughly examined those that flow through the heart of Cartano. But now that I am here, things have become clear. The flats conceal an etheric confluence, like to the pillars of the Azim Steppe, but greater in scale, far greater. Oh! The glyphs that Fandaniel has conjured reach into its very midst. And I believe I know their purpose. Should the lunar primals destroy them, it would spark a chain reaction with the potential to obliterate the confluence entirely. The resultant disruption to the flow of ether would sow chaos among the elements, prompting earthquakes, floods, and tempests large enough to lay waste to the realm. That he would go so far cometh as little surprise. We must needs protect the confluence at all costs. Come with me, Alice. Defeat Lunar Odin and defend the ethereal confluence. We get to be Urianger, huh? Is that Odin? So the time has come to pit my blade against his. Follow my lead. So let's see, what do we got here? Malefic, unaspected damage, okay. Okay, Benefic is our healing spell. Lord of Crowns combo. Leave everything to fate as you draw a card from your divining deck. Deals unaspected damage. Okay. Potency 210. Potency 270. The scroll combo. Damage dealt is increased while weapon skill cast time and recast time. Spell cast time and recast time and auto reduce for yourself and all nearby party members. Okay, so this is what's going to buff our party members. Restores own HP. Okay, so this is our Medica 2. And this is gonna be like our like healing aura that pops up, I think. Okay. So we've got damage, more damage, target healing, group healing, and then area healing. Gonna need the last one, this one down here, the fixed sign for the when I see the stack marker appear. Okay. There's a hole.
My turn!
Holy shit. Okay, I botched that then. Use fixed sign to defend against Lunar Odin. So I needed to do it again at that point. Okay. What'd this say? Whoops. Leave the chains to me. Yoriange, it's your time to act as shield. Okay. Alright. Do I have to start all the way from the beginning? Oh no. Resume from midway. Okay. Alright, we'll see if we can pick up what I need to do at the right times there. Again. Because I thought I was popping the buff protection thing every time I saw it come up, but I might have missed it. Okay, that I needed to pop down at the end there too when we were all damaged to hell. Okay. Alright.
Protect you.
Oh shit. That was the other problem I needed. So I probably needed to destroy that too. I think that was the other thing I missed. That's alright. We'll get it this next time. Find my hole here.
My turn.
We best brace ourselves. Okay. Do we have to stack on the confluence, or think we doth require our aid?
Away with you!
Okay, we got him there. Can I heal the confluence? Alright, he's back. Oh, I might have screwed up there. Nice, we almost got him. Alright. There. Figured it out that time. Alright, now we're back to fighting as ourselves. Meanwhile, Grahatia and Alice prepare to lock swords with Luna Ravana. Okay, this is really cool. Alright, now what? That must be Ravana, a formidable opponent by all accounts, but so are we. Alright, now we've got Foul combo. Fire 4, Fire 4, Fire 4, Foul. Allegan Blizzard. Cure 2. So Thunder 4. So he must be like a black mage? With like white mage spells? Okay. So I gotta I probably have to use Break at like the opportune time. And then I have Healing, so regen, and then Direct Heals, and then all damage along the bottom. Lightning damage over time, and this restores up to 40% of MP, okay. So that's gonna be a way to get my MP regen. Yep, no problem. Alright, so this is my dot I have to do every 18 seconds. Alright, let's go for it, Alice. Oh, let's get that off there. Hold up. What's up? Use break when the butterflies appear. Okay. Okay. So dot. Otherwise you lose? Okay. I figured there was going to be some time when I had to use that for sure. Monster of Flame. I know I gotta take these things out. Oh, the Thunder's an AoE? Okay. Oh shit. I'm hosed. Yeah, I noticed that it was a dot. Get out of there. Get there. Okay, so this is where I have to use that again. Get it. Oh, Alice is injured. Did that get us? Oh, nice. Okay, so we're almost there. I kind of screwed up my combo there, but... There we go. Yeah, I got it. Just in the nick of time. Alright, now... At the self-same moment, you stand shoulder to shoulder with Elfino and Estinian, resolved to lay Lunar Ifrit low. Now we're me. See if I can remember how to beat Dragoon. I will fight as Callista Tobu. Who's this person? Okay. Oh shit. Well, that was my bad. Oh shit. Well, that sucked. This is the same as the other one. Oh, I missed it. Fuck. Oh, this again. Okay. Oh, that was a waste. Holy nails. So it's come to this. Nice. Why can't I do that? Alright, we almost got him. There we go. That should do it. Oh. Alright, that wasn't too bad. Is that it? So, Odin, Ravana, and Ifrit. Quite the mix. Not even really a rhyme or reason to it.
And thus another plan went up in smoke. I am beginning to see why Lord Xenos thinks so highly of you.
Are you now? Part of me feels...
Not that this changes anything, you understand. You have merely earned yourself a stay of execution.
Okay. I was going to say, part of me was thinking this might have been part of his plan too, but maybe not. Well, at least we can say he died doing what he loved, subjugating Eorzeans.
How fare the tempered?
We've treated as many as we can, but some were beyond help.
All the Porksies.
Do not hang your head so, brave scions. Though not all of our captured brethren could be saved, we are grateful for those whose minds have been restored. You could do no more, and that is enough. So please hold your heads high.
His voice sounds different than when we were in the meeting room. Oh, this isn't the leader dude. Okay, that makes sense then.
I should have been quicker, but I'll do better next time.
Really, Urianger was the only one that failed, Alice.
Thank you for your kind words. They mean a lot.
A victory at great cost, but a victory nonetheless. We must stay strong and press on. Isn't that right?
No, I think we should just give up. Fandaniel's gonna get us eventually. Let's just give in. Well, you've come this far. One battle at a time, we'll get there. To the very end sounds a little grim.
That
Agreed.
we will.
In unison. Look, it's the moon. Ha. Interesting. Alright, so that's the credits then, I'm guessing, huh? Alright. So, the question is, was it just trying to set the scene at the end there? Yep, that's the moon, alright. Yep. I nailed it. Yes! I picked up some things from this story. So I was wondering if... So the moon lighting up, is it just to give us the sense of setting that, like, this is like the reference to the fact that that's our initial, like, place that we're going? Or was the moon lighting up as sort of a pretense to some sort of aid from the moon. Whether it is beings that live on the moon, or whether it is the moon / Zodiark himself possibly jumping into the fray in some way, shape, or form. And if that's the case, it'll maybe seem like it's to our benefit, but eventually it's to some other nefarious means, maybe? Because, so when they've talked about, like, Hydaelyn and Zodiark, right? Especially in, like, the first keynote, not the one that was at FanFest, but the one before that, when they showed the art of, like, Hydaelyn on top and Zodiark on the bottom, like, Yoshi P made it a very specific choice during that discussion to say how, after you finish Endwalker, look at the image from all sides, and you'll have a different understanding of it than what it looks like just from how the art is presented. And so I have a feeling that, like, they're building up this whole idea that it's like the fight between Hydaelyn and Zodiark. We're Hydaelyn's champion. Xenos is going to end up being, like, Zodiark's champion. But I still have a feeling that it's not going to be that simple. There's going to be some twists and turns and some things that are going to be different in that. I'm still pretty strong in the feeling that, like, we'll take care of Fandaniel fairly early on, and then we'll actually fight Xenos in, like, the middle of the expansion. Maybe, like, 50, 60, 70% mark. And then the rest of that is how to deal with Hydaelyn and Zodiark. And if one of them is too ascendant, having to put that one down so that it doesn't tilt the scales to create the rejoining. And then at the end, since one of them is taken, in order to create perfect balance, we have to destroy the other one. I still think that that's where somehow it gets to in the end game. I'm also super curious because Xenos ends up being such a one-note character. If there's something they do, either, like, once we beat him, for some reason he's forced to fight alongside of us. Like, I'm waiting for there to be some crumb of character development or something, some interesting turn to happen with him. Maybe it's just that Fandaniel's schemes get in the way and he kills Fandaniel, and we don't actually have to take Fandaniel down. It could just be something as simple as that, and then we still end up needing to fight Xenos. But I really don't think the final fight of Endwalker is going to be Xenos. I really think that it's going to be dealing with one of the big primals. It's going to be dealing with, like, Hydaelyn or Zodiark, or both in some way, shape, or form. Like, that's I don't know. That's just where my mind is going with it. There's probably some fully described and deep-seated reasons why none of that makes sense. But from playing through this, like, just hearing some of the nuggets of what they've said, that's sort of what I foresee things doing. I also do wonder, and I actually doubt that we will have to, but I do wonder if in Endwalker we're going to have to go back to the first for anything. I do also, to some extent, like the idea that I talked about at one point, where... So, we have the source, and then we have the 14 or the 13 other shards, right? Some of which have been destroyed, some of which are still existent. And that the constant of this universe is that the moon is shared amongst all of them. And so I still think that part of the reason why, and it's good that Ardbert's on the screen right now, I still think that one of the reasons why we're going to have to go to the moon is to, within our presence, unite other warriors of light, like Ardbert, in order to, like, rejoin Azem, so that then at that point we would be able to, take down Zodiark and Hydaelyn, I guess. I still do think we're going to have to fight Hydaelyn. And the thought of it being like a sort of like tempered version of Minfilia, even though granted I know Minfilia is technically probably supposedly gone now, but having it be some warped version of Minfilia being the essence or the presence of Hydaelyn that we fight, would be a really interesting thing for them to do with that also. But I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. A little less than 6 months, right? Well, at this point, 5.5 months. A little bit longer than that. If we're looking at November 19th being the day. And so, and I guess I don't know how that works, and maybe Baby Smell, maybe you know. So when the servers come back up after they install basically 6.0, is that usually come up about the same time as when like a patch comes up? So like in early morning, or is that something that comes up a little bit later? Right. Well, and maybe it's not necessarily... So if killing Zodiark split the planet into however many other planets, what do you think would happen if we killed Hydaelyn? Well, so that's the other question, right? Is the only way to finish this all to actually create some weird random rejoining? That could be the case. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that we kill Hydaelyn. But what it might be is similar to how we never really kill any of the other primals. We never kill Ifrit. We never kill Garuda. We never kill Odin. We just kind of put them back in their place. If finally finishing off Hydaelyn, like, puts her back so that she is not enraged, I guess? I'm not sure. Oh, okay, you haven't been playing the game long enough to know? You just started with Shadowbringers? Okay. So I am curious. I'm curious when it would go live on the 19th. More so just if I should take the 19th off of work or just the 20th off of work. Pretty early on to be thinking about that, but I'm already planning on it. And that's the other thing I'm trying to figure out. And granted, I have months to think about it. Whether I actually stream Endwalker or not. The MSQ. Part of me feels like since I streamed all of Shadowbringers, it would only make sense to. Problem is... Okay, so there's like a twofold thing. First off, all the Final Fantasy XIV streamers are going to be streaming Endwalker MSQ at the same time. Or choosing not to because people don't want to watch because of spoilers. And so, if everybody else is watching it, will I basically be streaming to nobody? Possibly. And also, if I'm playing it like right away at the start, and I'm actually ahead of people, who would want to watch and not be like spoiled, right? But then again, I guess if I'm just streaming as a mechanism for creating VODs that will be posted, maybe at that point it's just worth it. But then do I stream or do I just locally record on my computer? Then again, there might be random passersby. And also, there's probably a good chance that I don't keep up and finish at the rate that, like, top-tier Final Fantasy XIV players finish. Especially seeing as how I like to read and digest a lot of the lore. And I'm probably overly aggressive at seeking out what all sorts of NPCs say. Right, right. So you'll personally be playing the game, and after you complete the game, watch what everyone else's experience has been? You suggest I still stream? Okay. That makes sense. Those might be some long days. Because I am planning on... I'm planning on playing a lot when that comes out. But yeah, like you were saying, Baby Smell, I still have a lot to do to catch up. And I guess it makes sense, like with Yoshi P saying, when I think they were doing the narrative Q&A with him and the, like the lead writer, the lead scenario writer, that he recommends going back and playing through to get the story of things like Binding Coil, specifically, all of the Trials series, all of the Alliance raids, especially the ones that are specific to Final Fantasy XIV alone. So maybe not as much like the Nier one, because even though that probably will still have some references in Endwalker, I would guess. So I don't know. I have lots to do. The question is where to start, and how do I want to do it? Like for instance, I was originally talking about doing the Alliance raids, so starting with Void Ark and working my way through on stream. That probably doesn't make the most sense, because those might be some of them. Some of them are probably going to proc pretty fast. The wait times probably won't take that long, but some of them might. And so I don't know if that's the best mechanism for going through that stuff. The same would be like the Ruby Weapon, Whirlit stuff. And like the other Trials series, I have not done many of those either. Just the things that I've missed as I've gone through the game. So yeah, so those are some of the things I have to just sort of debate about and think about a little bit. I do still want to, even though it's maybe not the most interesting of things, do some of the crafting and stuff on stream, because I do kind of like that. And also, I think the good thing with that is that it doesn't require 1,000% of my focus. So, like, those streams allow me to actually just chat. Like, what I'd like to do is I get a little bit better at it, and I can just sort of automate the crafting in my head a little bit more, and maybe build some macros. Would be to make those much more so just chatting streams where we're talking about Lord knows what. And still doing some of the story stuff just to see where, like, the crafting stories go and gathering stories go, I guess. But aside from that, yeah, trying to think of what other good things would be to stream. I've also debated about whether it makes sense to maybe... So I think, like we talked about before, maybe it would be good to do a class, like level up a class on stream. Because I've watched a couple of videos about how to, like, quickly level things. And so possibly do Dark Knight all the way through on stream. Especially since so many people have said that story is one of the more interesting, like, class quest lines of all of them. So that would be something that I might do on stream, and maybe another class at the same time. Some of the other things I've had ideas of doing was maybe trying to do, like, Palace of the Dead runs on stream. I don't know if that's incredibly interesting. So I don't know. We'll have to see. See what we can figure out. What makes the most sense. Otherwise, I think the idea would be, now that, like, I'm through the MSQ stuff, I might stream a couple of the other story-heavy stuff that I'm working back through. But ultimately, might not stream as much Final Fantasy XIV especially not as much as I have in the last couple months. Have it be a more sporadic thing during the downtime before Endwalker, I guess. And then get back to some of the things that I've wanted to do or wanted to finish up. So I'd really like to finish up Xenogears. We'll see how much more of Digital Devil story I play on stream. I would really like to at least get to the end of the first area and explore the second area on stream. Maybe see that game all the way through. We'll see how complicated it gets and how much I continue to get lost, because I'm pretty sure it's painful to watch me just wander through corridors in that game. I could be wrong, but yeah, and then I really want to play Suikoden 2 this year, preferably still in the first half of the year. And so once I finish Xenogears, that's probably another game I play very soon. And then continuing on like the RPG archaeology stuff, once I'm done with Digital Devil story, it would be jumping into Phantasy Star, and maybe the Miracle Warriors, which was the game that came out shortly before Phantasy Star, that was Sega exclusive RPG. That one has a few more analogs to Digital Devil story Megami Tensei, because that one is also kind of a dungeon crawler, as opposed to the more Dragon Quest model RPG or Final Fantasy model, which Phantasy Star kind of falls into that. But yes, the idea would be to eventually get to both Phantasy Star and then Final Fantasy, the first one, and play through those on stream to kind of finish sort of the 1987 arc that I've been going through with the kind of RPG archaeology saga, playing the remastered versions of Dragon Quest 1 and 2. Yeah, so one of my goals for June is to have a much more stable streaming schedule, so I apologize for that. And like one of my other goals for the first part of June is to redo the About section of this so that it has more information. I'm working on getting my thoughts together on the art things that I want to request from a friend, and trying to get some of that stuff created so that I can sort of have a better look and feel to the page, as well as to get emotes and badges and all that other stuff that subscribers could get if they subscribe, just to give a few more benefits to watching things here. But yes, so the goal is, what I'm trying to figure out for June is what are the 3 days a week that I can say I will for sure stream, and then maybe have a fourth day that would be, if it works. It's just figuring out what those are. Like Monday, I was certain I was going to be able to stream until Sunday, when that came up that we needed to stream that we needed to record the podcast that day, or one of the podcasts that day, and that got chaotic because the guy who's doing the podcasts was just about to, his wife was just about to have a baby, and so he's trying to get as much recorded before that happened as possible, and so that was kind of an extraneous circumstance. But there has been a lot of recording in the last couple of weeks, and then a lot of other things that have been popping up too. So hopefully the last like few weeks of me being very, very flaky is going to change. Selfish baby, yes. Yes, they have a tendency to just do what they want, right? But they had their kid, and she's doing well, so that's good. So yeah, so that's the idea. Right now, I really do think Mondays should work. Like, almost always. So I'm looking at it being Sundays and Mondays would be for sures until we get to the fall. And then Sundays probably still will always work, air quotes. It would just be what time of day. Seeing as how I'm a football fan, if the Vikings are playing at different times, I might be streaming earlier in the day or later in the day, depending upon when they play. But I'm looking at Sundays and Mondays for sure. Saturdays would be one of those. Okay, yes. I do have two possible. So what I would like to do in a perfect world, there are two MMORPGs I would like to try out over the summer. Guild Wars 2 being one of them. And then, seeing as how I do like the RPG archaeology stuff for other things, part of me would really like to give Final Fantasy XI a shot, just to see what are some of the trappings that still exist in 5.55 FF14. And so those are two things I would like to try out over the summer and maybe early autumn. Yeah, and so those are two things that are also on my list of games that I want to play. They're just much more complicated, especially Final Fantasy XI is much more complicated to play. And making sure I can figure out how to make it watchable. So yeah. Because I think it's good to play some of those other games to have a comparison to FF14, just to, because it's been so long. I mean, like I said before, the last MMO I've played was Star Wars: The Old Republic, and so, you wonder if the combat has aged well or if it's awful. Honestly, from watching a couple of Final Fantasy XI streams recently, it definitely looks awful. Like, it's not interactive at all. I mean, it is, but it's not. Like, you click your attack and you just have the auto attack, and then you proc your abilities or spells, and that's about it. You just wait to do your auto attacks and hope the wild rabbit doesn't kill you. So, I am concerned about whether that will actually work or not. So those are ideas also. Oh no, yes, oh no. So in that case, it would be good to have a counterbalance of something new to play that's not cumbersome, which would be Guild Wars 2. So those are the ideas. I also want to give Phantasy Star Online 2 a shot, though that might just be something I do off-stream. And also, like, one of the goals for the early summer is to get a lot of my stuff over to the YouTube channels I have. I kind of want to get, like, the art stuff in place first, so I can create intros and outros for videos that I can add to them in YouTube. So that's one of the things that I want to try to get done by mid-summer, so middle of July. Is start getting a lot of things exporting over to there. And then once those are up, other than just having my VODs from Twitch, the idea would be to eventually have, starting maybe once every 2 weeks, putting actual videos direct to YouTube up that I would create and edit off stream. So that's kind of like the long-term trajectory of what I'm wanting to do with all of this. So yeah, so that's the idea anyway. That is the idea. I'm guessing the whisper down there is the video you want me to check out. I will take a look at that once we stop stream. Because yeah, I am intrigued. I am definitely intrigued by Guild Wars 2. And I've actually... so I watch a lot of Work to Game on Twitch and YouTube. And they both really like Guild Wars 2 also. and have been glowing about how the game has been recently. So they also have me picked. My curiosity picked quite a bit. Peaked. Yeah, we could do that. I might need to do some refinagling in OBS, but I should be able to do that. So we'll get through this. My understanding is that there's... I guess I can skip it at this point. Maybe that's the better thing instead of just me yakking. Now that I've kind of run out of things to yak about. We don't want to pause the scrolling text. We'll skip it. We made it through most of the... We made it through most of the credits. Alright. Look at... Oh, Emmerich is here. What are you doing here? You don't belong here. You're not a scion. Alright. Well, we'll have to see what everybody has to say. As always. I will recommend that the Alliance keep a closer watch over Cartano. The Telephoroi may have failed in their attempt to destroy the Confluence this time, but there is naught to stop them trying again. Sir America. America. Throughout the battle, I could not shake the feeling that all present were performing for the amusement of Fandaniel. Nor did his blithe reaction to this latest defeat give me cause to think otherwise. I can only conclude that such failures are of little consequence to his broader scheme, whatever it may be. I mean, so I am really curious as to what Fandaniel's actual goal is. Like, he's not one of the Unsundered. So does he really give a squat about Zodiark reigning supreme? Or is he really just the Joker and wants to create chaos so he can see what happens to the chaos? Like, what is his thing? The Cartano Flats seem fated to play a prominent role in the history of the realm, do they not? I wonder, might the abundance of ether that floweth through the region have led the Allagans to entomb Omega there? Alright, so these are all like planting seeds here for what's going to happen. It was decent of Lord Emmerich to bear us home aboard his airship. The gods only know how we would have squeezed this many people onto the Bonanza. Alright, that's not much of a seed. That's just an observation. The temper that we were able to treat will be taken to the city-states for observation. As soon as the Alliance is satisfied that they're fully recovered, they will be free to return home. What he said was that he wants everyone to die, including himself, in a spectacular fashion. Okay, that's true. At the close of the battle, when the clouds parted and the moon shone down on all of us, I cannot well express how I felt. Somehow, it seemed more a beginning than an ending. Yeah, it's a new dawn. Didn't you watch the keynote, Elfino? It's a new dawn. Alright, Emmerich, what's up? Oh, was Tara there for me to talk to? I missed her. I trust you all enjoyed a comfortable flight aboard the Pride of the Ishgardian fleet. Lest you worry, the Bonanza has been towed to a nearby location to be retrieved at your convenience. You have thought of everything, Lord Emmerich, and may I say how much I appreciated the hospitality you afforded us on the way home. Think nothing of it. Our destination lay in the same direction, and it afforded me the perfect opportunity to learn how my errant friend has been since last he took his leave. It would seem you have finally found a place to settle down. I merely grew weary of wandering the Far East. Returning to more serious matters, while the Telephoroi have been driven from Cartano, 'tis like that the bulk of their forces yet remain. On the evidence of the Grand Company of Eorzea's first joint military operation, however, I am confident that we have the potential to meet such threats head-on, even without the aid of you and yours. As such, while our forces keep the Telephoroi at bay, I would ask that you apply your talents to the task of neutralizing the towers. A sensible division of labor. While the towers remain, so too will the threat of the lunar primals. So that's where we're going to pick up Endwalkers, is dealing with the towers, possibly. And given our expertise in the field of etherology, we are better qualified to find the solution. That we are. Especially should it happen to lie beyond the Alliance's dominion. There is a time and a place for formal investigations, of course, but certain secrets are wont to hide where only enterprising individuals may venture. I could not agree more. There are none better suited to this task, nor any upon whom I would rather rely. Yeah, we could do it! On behalf of the Alliance, I thank you. We look forward to receiving any information you are able to uncover. And with that, I must take my leave. Should you have need of assistance, pray do not hesitate to ask. Fare you well, my friends. There might be more to it, at least you hope there is, or something more interesting happens, because Fandaniel and Xenios both make for boring villains. Yeah, Gratia, I'm here too! Yes, and it's not just boring, they're just one note, right? There's no depth to their villainy. Like, Fandaniel is amusing in the short bursts that we've had of him so far, just because he's like a foil to Xenos' like deadpan, I want to fight my friend. But there has to be something else behind both motivations to make them come anywhere close to being interesting villains like Emmett Selk and even at the end Elidibus were, you know? I confess, I had hoped to be able to study the towers more closely, vital as they plainly are to the Telephoroi's plans. If we can discern their ultimate function, we will be one step closer to understanding our enemy's grand scheme. Should we succeed in neutralizing them, of course, it is all but certain that the Telephoroi will mount an all-out invasion. And then it will begin. The one who awaits at the heart of the chaos will come for us. For you. Yet in the end, our true nemesis may be the calamity to end all calamities. The final days themselves. Yes, all right, Alphino. We need a plan, not portents. As Thancred so eloquently pointed out, we are in a position to seek information from all manner of places, not least Sharlayan. According to Kryl, the Forum have been more secretive than ever of late. While this may be related to the appearance of the Telephoroi, that remains a matter of speculation. But one thing is clear. The Forum is determined to keep us from discovering the truth. Master Fortuno's performance at the Lotus Stand was enough to convince me of that. The matter beareth further investigation, I do heartily concur. Nor can I think of a more promising place to look for the answers we seek on the matter of the towers. Sharlayan hath ever been the wellspring of etherological knowledge. I care not where we go. Here or there, my lance will be ready. And what of you, Callista? Might you be persuaded to join us? I'm going to Island Sanctuary, see you. Plot a course for Sharlayan. If it means I can have words with Forshno. This is no way to speak to your kids. An island of bookworms and bureaucrats. Have we no other choice? I'm going to be defensive of the twins. If it means I can have words with Forshno. Yes. Only after I do. If he and his friends in the Forum think we'll leave them alone if they ignore us, they're in for a shock. It appears we are in agreement. We have but to wait for Kryl to secure the necessary permissions. In the meantime, there is a matter I would investigate. Does it involve tall structures? By strange coincidence, it does. At present, I have only a creeping suspicion, but with your help, I will soon find out whether my fears are warranted. Shadowbringers leaves behind some big shoes to fill, but you'd be satisfied if the story were a decent and fun one. Yeah, I hope it doesn't try to tread the same like path. I would like it to have a little bit different structure and just different notes. We don't need to have like the emotional reveal, the secret that we all know is true but is hidden from us to build the irony. Like, we don't necessarily need it to do the same things. If it does really crazy and different things, and kind of lives in its own light, I think that would be good. Which, when you look at it, Heaven's Word was different than Stormblood, was different than Shadowbringers. There was allusions to sort of each other throughout, but they all kind of had, well, they have similar structures of like, all right, this is when the trial happens, this is when a dungeon happens, and so on and so forth. I think it's all, they all have very different kind of stories that they're telling, and so I hope Endwalker is going to be something similar to that, in that it's different. You have learned the emote shush. So silly. Have that be the final thing you get. Alright, what now? Meanwhile, in the Garlean capital. So we get to get one last look at Xenos. Oh, there's his scythe.
Those Eorzeans certainly are a stubborn bunch. Though I suppose you knew that already. My plan to redirect the ether from Cartano came to a rather less than satisfactory conclusion. It was, in many respects, an abject failure. Which does, of course, raise the question of where we are going to procure the requisite amount. The obvious solution would be to draw on resources a little closer to home, though that would require our dreamer to dream a trifle more deeply.
So be it. The dreamer will not complain.
Then let us begin the preparations at once. With the gateway of the gods complete, all that remains is to gather the necessary ether, and our prize shall be within reach. The time has come to fulfill your heart's desire, my desire! To relieve those wretched creatures of their meaningless existence!
While I await you, I shall drink a sea of souls and gorge myself upon the darkened moon. Then you shall come to me, all roiling rage and rancor. And the stars shall bear witness to our final contest.
Xenos is silly. I'm sorry. You were hoping he'd make a heart dance. He did it for the gram. Alright. So before she goes off with Thancred, we go hang out here.
As I thought, the ethereal currents have been disturbed here too.
It was the same in Thanalan. Make that every location we surveyed.
And the strength of each current has diminished dramatically. Far more than could be attributed to a natural occurrence.
We're here.
What tidings bringest thou from Dravania?
We took a number of readings, and noticed that the closer we were to the tower, the lower the etheric density became. In short,
The towers are drawing upon the land's ether, which would explain how they were able to carry out the summonings.
Okay. And so once that planet's ether is gone, that's what would cause, like, the calamities.
Our
to
allies
happen.
must be informed of this. We should return to the Rising Stones and have Tataru relay our findings to them.
Hear me. Hear me. Hear me. Hear me. Darkness comes, and with it, the end. The fate of the star is in your hands.
Okay, so that's the person that's at the top of the promo image.
Everything all right back there?
I'm Batman. No, nothing to worry about. Just another portent of the end of days. That changed color fast, that moon. At solemn dawn, grim purpose shines in gazes cast toward moonlit sky. Thus does our final curtain rise, your steps to guide what end betides. And now, that is it. Under the darkened moon. Alright, and we can see what everybody else has to say at the end here. Much and more have we discovered of the Telephoroid's machinations since Thancred and I did return from Garlemald. Verily, their troops doth appear to have been tempered in much the same manner as those engaged in the construction of the towering edifice in the capital. Yes, we finished Shadowbringers. Now we got the to be continued. When Arenvald tried to free the Amalja held in the tower, it triggered some sort of alarm and the captives were killed instantly. As such, we have no choice but to leave them in the clutches of the Telephoroi until a means of rescuing them has been found. In the meantime, the summonings of lunar primals will continue, just as we must rely on the Grand Company of Eorzea to put down such entities and prevent any further abductions. So too do they rely on us to come through with our investigation. I have a feeling the journey to Sharlayan is going to be quite the test of your nerves, in more ways than one. You'll miss this place while you're away, I just know it. But for now, the best thing you can do is get plenty of rest while we wait to hear from Cryle. I have received word that Arenvald is back in the frontistery. As much as I would like to visit him, I shall wait until there is good news to share. The last time we met, it was strange that he should be the one trying to cheer me up, in spite of everything that has befallen him. Still, I was glad for the chance to meet with him, and his words continue to be a source of encouragement. After the end of the Dragon Song War, I spent many a moon roaming Kugane, Ranzatan, even Garlemald. but never Sharlayan. In all honesty, a nation populated entirely by bookish types like Elfino is not a place that appeals to me. Grahatia. Not only do the members of the Forum intend to adhere to their long-standing policy of non-intervention, they made a point of sending Master Fortuno here to explicitly state that fact. Rather than simply refusing to involve themselves in our affairs, it would appear they are actively trying to prevent us from meddling in theirs. That, of course, makes Cryle's mission of securing our entry into Sharlayan nigh on impossible, but I am confident that she will find a way regardless. Those who are brought within close proximity of the towers are tempered into serving Garlemald, then forced to summon lunar primals with ether drawn from the land. But even having understood this, we are yet to uncover what the Talafaroi wished to achieve by all this. Are the towers purely for strategic advantage, or do they serve some other purpose? Whatever it is my father and the Forum are hiding, I'm determined to get to the bottom of it. Alright. So, let's return to New Gridania then. And then, let's get this up. Feels almost surreal that we're actually done with Shadowbringers. Yeah. Well, and yeah, to be like fully like caught up into the end of everything is weird, seeing as how I was just always behind, right? All right, let's see here. Okay. So leave that on. We need that on. This off. That would be on. Alright, getting this all up and running here. But yes, like we talked about before, still lots to do. But lots of time to get caught up on it. Okay. Just working on getting everything up here for taking a look at this video. There we go. That's a good number. 250. Top. Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Okay, that's gonna bother me, so we'll do that little bit. Right side, we'll go to that. Nope. There we go. Okay, so I think that looks pretty decent. So then we can just close that. Oh, it's a little too big. Okay, yeah, we'll lose a little bit of the bottom, but that shouldn't be a problem. Actually, then we can slide it that way. Okay. so do that. Mute that, and then throw this scene over here. Okay. So this is why play Guild Wars 2 in 2021, explaining the appeal and comparing to other games. Let's make sure that... Yeah, so that volume should be good, I think. So yeah, so let's take... You can't see the whole video? Oh, because my head's in the way? Or is there something else that's missing on it?
Hello everyone, Muckluck Douglas Bartholomew Richard Esquire IV here, and I'm going to explain to you as concisely as I can the charm and appeal of Guild Wars 2 in 2021 and make comparisons to other games when possible.
Because of the capture,
I frequently get visitors to the stream that ask questions like, I'm looking for a new MMO to
Whoops.
play.
Well, now you can't see anything, can you? Alright, let's look here. What's oh, it was fine. Okay. Yeah, I tried to crop it all to the edges.
Hello everyone, Muckluck Douglas Bartholomew Reginald Esquire IV here, and I'm going to explain to you as concisely as I can.
Should be a
charm
bit
and appeal of
louder.
Guild Wars
We
2
can do that.
2021 and make comparisons to other games when possible. I frequently get visitors to the stream that ask questions like, I'm looking for a new
Good
MMO
now, I
to
think.
play. I'm a bit bored with insert other MMO name here. Do you think I would like Guild Wars 2? Here are the things I think Guild Wars 2 does best. Combat. The combat is one of the most fluid combat systems I've seen in 20 years of playing MMOs. No mana bars or holding still to cast spells, except for a few powerful abilities. This is unlike Final Fantasy XIV or World of Warcraft, where you have to stand still to cast a great many of your skills. In Guild Wars 2, your first 5 buttons are associated with your class and the weapon in your hand. The 6th key is your choice of a self-healing mechanic, 7, 8, and 9 are utility choices, and the 10th key is an ultimate. Because 1 through 5 are associated with your weapon, when you swap weapons, the 1 through 5 change. Weapon swapping has a short cooldown in combat, but no cooldown outside of combat. Another thing I found appealing about this system is that most skills do not require a target. When I played previous MMOs, many of my abilities could not be used unless I had a target. But here, if my target were a thief, for example, and they went invisible, I could keep swinging it where I thought they were, and I could possibly hit them or even kill them.
Interesting.
Dodge rolling. Every class has an endurance bar.
So it seems like it's a much more action-oriented gameplay style as opposed to the cooldown style. So yeah, that is very interesting. It's a mix. Yeah. Huh.
By
Okay.
default, it holds 2 charges of a dodge roll. This is similar to dodges in Dark Souls, in that for the moment you are dodging, you are evading all incoming attacks. This allows you to completely avoid very powerful hits in PvE or PvP once you know what to watch out for. I love this system. It is easy to pick up, but hard to master. Baiting out an enemy's dodges, then going in for the finish in PvP, or using your dodges to recover from hairy moments in PvE. Downstate.
So does that mean then even if you're in like an AoE, as long as you're dodging while you're in it, it's gonna miss you? Is that what that means? Because if so, that's pretty cool too. That's a crutch that I need to lean on as a floor tank. It depends on the AoE. Okay, so some you still get hit by, but then the dodge is still a move that'll help you get out of the way. And I suppose you could also kind of use it as a gap closer too, to some extent.
When your hit points hit 0, you go into downstate. As long as you didn't hit 0 from falling, then you go straight to dead. Downstate is similar to the Fight for Your Life mode in the Borderlands series.
Interesting.
While in downstate, you still have access to a few skills based on your class, but you are bleeding out. If you assist with getting a kill, bandage yourself, or an ally revives you, you pop back up. If your hit points hit 0 in downstate, think of it like a second hit point bar, or if someone executes you, which is a few seconds of channeling while standing over you, then you're dead. Mount system. The mounts in this game are unique, useful, and none of them trivializes the others. To use WoW as an example, getting an epic ground mount allows you double speed, but none of the controls or movements change at all. Once you get an epic flying mount, you never use your ground mount again, unless you're forced to. Some exceptions apply, like the vendor mounts. In Guild Wars 2, there are 8 mounts that each have a unique purpose. Here's the rapid-fire information. Raptor. Capable of long horizontal jumps, can leap over canyons. You can use his tail spin while dismounting to damage foes in an area and pull them together. Springer. Capable of large vertical leaps, can carry you up cliffs and out of ravines, can use cannonball while dismounting to damage and knock down foes. Skimmer. A hovering mount, used for traveling over water, sulfur, quicksand, acid, lava, etc. Can be trained to become an underwater mount as well. Can use barrel roll when dismounting to damage enemies and
we got
kill your
ads.
allies you pass through.
Yo, Jonathan here, and when I initially posted this clip on Twitter and Instagram, the
Hey,
immediate
Jonathan.
response...
The Jackal is a sand elemental in the shape of a dog. He can teleport short distances, allowing you to traverse past certain obstacles, and can pounce to damage, blind, and cripple enemies, and put up shields. Think like bonus hit points on your allies.
So that's really neat, having
Think of it like
there
a
actually
pod
be a
racer.
difference
In a
with
big open
them.
area, it just keeps getting faster. It's difficult to turn until you get some practice at drifting. Can use his attack to break through certain walls in the game. Griffin. A gliding mount that is easy to learn, or a flying mount that is hard to master. Good for leaping off of high places and traveling extremely far distances. Can swoop to dive bomb onto enemies, or pull up after swoop to sacrifice elevation for speed. Warclaw. The primary mount in World vs. World. At first it's a standard mount, but you can train it to do much more. Later on it can fire lances to dismount enemy mounted players, can attach chains to enemy gates to rip them off their hinges, and its pounce does extra damage to downed players. Lastly, the Skyscale, the only true fully 3D maneuverable mount. If the Griffin was a jet, the Skyscale is a helicopter. However, it does have a stamina bar, and it cannot fly forever without reprieve. If it gets tired, you can land or cling to a wall to allow it a second to refill stamina before continuing. It can blast an area with fire during the dismount to set enemies aflame when you engage. Any class can be tanky, or a glass cannon, or anywhere in between. When Guild Wars 2 was first released, it did not have the holy trinity of tank, DPS, and healer. There are some builds closer to that now, but a warrior isn't necessarily tanky, and a mage is not necessarily fragile. You can make gear with nearly any stat combination.
Reverse that for a second. So we've got... So it's like warrior... Yeah, it's really hard to read with the size that it is. The Revenant looked kind of cool, though.
A mage is not necessarily fragile. You can make gear with nearly any stat combinations you want. If you went for full offensive stats as any class, you would be a bit of a glass cannon. An example would be the ever-popular power, crit chance, and crit damage gear. But that same person could also build toughness, vitality, and power for heaps of armor, hit points, and base damage, but they lost the crit chance that the first example had. It is so refreshing to see an enemy, and even if you know their class, you are not immediately certain what you are dealing with. They could be playing the meta build you see most often, or they could be doing something unique you aren't prepared for. And I don't just mean in PvP. I have seen elementalists tank raids. I've seen warriors heal with shout builds. Imagine someone screaming, "Feel better," and get over it at you repeatedly, but it actually works. World vs. World. World vs. World is an insanely fun game mode that pits you in PvP versus other servers. Imagine 3-way combat between 3 servers on a grand scale. Battles like 50 versus 50 versus 50 or more. You can siege down walls, keeps, steal supplies, hire mercenaries, and you get rewards every few minutes as long as you are actively playing. If you are a WoW player, think the original Alterac Valley, but more than 10 times the size. Conquest. Conquest is the battleground or limited PvP of Guild Wars 2. There are many Conquest maps, but they are all played 5 versus 5, with 3 objectives.
So this is like
and a 4th objective that is unique to each
competitive
map.
PvP, whereas the other one's like world
One of the
PvP.
huge appeals of this game mode is you can access it at level 2. You can reach that in a few minutes of playing, and when you enter Conquest, you are considered max level with all talents and gear unlocked. Want to PvP on a Necromancer, but you don't want to level one? You don't have to. This game mode is comparable to WoW's Battlegrounds. You can get end game loot.
So is the world versus world stuff, is that something where if you go to a certain spot, you opt into it? Or is it certain places are world versus world? Or is it like an actual game mode that you enter into as you're going through it? And then you listed out the classes: Warrior, Guardian, Revenant, Ranger, Thief, Engineer, Mesmer, Elementalist, and Necromancer. Out of like with the gear that they had anyway, the Revenant looked cool to me. I would probably look at all of them and see what their actual classes are about, but that one was the one that appealed to me just from looking at it. It's a game mode that you enter into, but there are safe areas where you are invulnerable. Okay. So if you're just going out and doing like your normal quests, you don't end up having to travel through some of those zones to get to somewhere else. Okay. So as long as it's like, I know what I'm getting myself into, and it's not like, okay, you have to opt into world versus world. And then after you opt in, can you opt out of it when you don't want to play that mode for a while? Yes. Okay. So that's nice then, because it seems like it would be fun. But then if I'm trying to do something else, I wouldn't want to have to like get caught up in it and get hosed over while I'm trying to finish something else, right?
In many different ways. Raids. In most MMOs I played, this was the only way to get endgame loot. In Guild Wars 2, it is simply an option.
That's a pretty cool
Fractals are like
boss.
fast-paced 5-man dungeons with different buffs and debuffs in play every day. There are 100 tiers of difficulty, and depending on the modifiers, they can be very easy or very difficult.
Oh, and you were talking about this last time.
The 5 versus 5 PvP mode. It gives currency when you play it, and you can spend these tokens to buy the gear you want. World versus World. When you're lucky, you can just get endgame gear for free from one of these reward boxes, or you can spend World v World currency to get the gear you need. Strike missions. 10-man PvE content, easier than raids, and friendlier for pugs. Good for polishing your skills while you're learning to raid, but does have access to endgame gear. Achievements. Some achievements and collections reward top-tier gear as well. And lastly, crafting it. I love this system. I came from other games where the raiders were the only ones with access to top-tier gear, and they would dominate in PvP simply because they were unkillable raid bosses. That is a non-issue here. The gem store system. Guild Wars 2 has a gem store where you can buy some cosmetics or quality of life items. Like many games with similar stores, you can trade real-world currency for gems. But you can also trade in-game gold for gems. Got your eye on something but don't want to spend real money on it? That's fine. You don't have to. It is not pay to win.
Interesting.
You will never lose a fight because the other guy decided to spend more money on the game. Community.
That's a smart way to do it.
Community in Guild Wars 2 is, for the most part, a very positive group of people, and I think that all stems from the way the game works. Here's a couple of examples. In most MMOs, if you come across another player who was dead, it wouldn't benefit you in any way to dismount, spend time rezzing them, and then move on. In Guild Wars 2, you actually gain experience for rezzing people, sometimes worth killing half a dozen mobs or more worth of XP. This results in people constantly helping each other up if they see someone go down, even if they are only doing it for themselves. Shared loot. In vanilla World of Warcraft, if I saw another player fighting a rare spawn, the most profitable thing I could possibly do would be to try and sabotage the player, get them to die somehow, and then tag the mob myself so I get the loot. Guild Wars 2 has a shared loot system where anyone who hits a mob gets a copy of the loot. This results in people fighting a tough mob and others frequently joining in if they are passing by. It helps both parties. Exploration.
Okay, that's smart
Guild
too.
Wars 2 very much encourages exploration. When you finish a map completely, you get a large chest of rewards. When you finish the world map, you get components used for crafting legendary weapons. Legendary equipment is not required in the game. It has the same stats as Ascended gear. That's the best in slot stuff mentioned earlier, but it is very flashy, it changes your spell effects, and can be changed to different stats at any time. If you had a full set of legendary gear, you could change it to healing gear, damage gear, tank gear, etc., without having to carry multiple sets. Each item takes quite a bit of time to make, weeks or more if you're trying to do it without going bankrupt, so there is always content to work on. Nearly all equipment can be traded between your characters, so if you are an alt-aholic or decided to swap mains, your old efforts are not wasted. The world is constantly in motion. There are world bosses that spawn every few minutes, outdoor events constantly going on, different event chains based on success or failure of the event before it. There's an event timer.
I mean, the graphics look really cool also.
Bosses up at any given time for ease of use if you want to simply join a group doing world bosses non-stop. The entire core game, hundreds of hours of gameplay, is completely free, and you can download it using the link in the video description. It contains 8 of the 9 classes, as well as 5 of the 7 specializations. Think like talent trees for each of them. The remaining class and specializations are included in the expansions, Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire. As of the time of this video's release, Heart of Thorns became free with purchase of Path of Fire. I'll have a referral link for that page as well if you're interested, both of which are sponsored by ArenaNet. My recommendation is, if I have sparked your interest, download the free core game and try it out. Also at the time of recording this, Guild Wars 2's 3rd expansion, End of Dragons, is currently in development, and we've been told the game will also be available on Steam in the future. If you have any questions, I am on Twitch every night and would love to answer them, or you can drop them in the comments down below. I could go on for hours on the things I love about this game, but these are the points I believe held the most appeal for me as a longtime MMO player, so these are what I focused on. If you enjoyed this content, please consider hitting the like button to help us out with the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe to see more similar content. I hope you enjoy your time in Tyria, and happy adventuring.
So that's interesting. I mean, I didn't know, I hadn't seen a whole lot of, I've seen like random bits and pieces of gameplay. But yeah, that looks neat. That does look really neat. It's different enough from like other MMOs. It feels like that it would probably be really interesting to play. Especially just it being a little bit more action based with the combat. Like the clicking, selecting the options down below and having those different abilities almost feels more action RPG than, whereas this is more, the cooldown part of it feels a lot more like turn-based, even though it's not really turn-based, but and having it be like a few of those as opposed to like, well, with Dragoon, when you're bouncing between what, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to, no, so 15 to 16 different attacks that you're doing in a rotation. It seems interesting having a system that's a little bit more freeform, right? So yeah, no, I'm definitely intrigued to check that out at some point. So yeah, we'll have to see if this summer, sometime this summer, maybe earlier this summer than later, kind of depending upon where everything goes. So yeah, thanks for sharing that video. I appreciate it. I do. So, okay. So here's like the question then. So is it it doesn't seem like from the video that it doesn't seem like it's very limiting, right? Just doing the free version to start with. Is there anything where you would caution against doing the free version? So that was the only other thing I was wondering from that. And then my guess is it makes the most sense to just buy into the expansions with the new expansion when it comes out. It has its limitations. But it didn't seem like it was a lot. Like, there's one class you can't play. And there's, like, some of the specializations that you can't do. And I'm guessing it has some of the same things with, like, selling stuff on the market. I'm going to move somewhere else so I'm not around this cacophony of noises. And I do like that, like if you switch to another character, you have a different ult, you can still pass your gear over to them. Now, whether you'd want to use exactly the same gear or not, you know, that's maybe another question, but... So yeah, so I'm definitely going to look into that. That is for sure. So yeah, I think that's going to wrap everything up for tonight. Super interesting where everything leaves off. So the last little bit with Fandaniel and Xenos, I think I think it's interesting how they alluded to a lot of things. So like the Dreamer, who or what is that? Right? So that was curious. And then, I mean, it seems like pretty soon the fire's going to erupt everywhere. So we shall see. We'll see how that like kicks off in Endwalker then. So there is one problem. Gear that's account bound you can share, but there's also the limitation of whether they can wear it. So there's okay. So classes can only wear certain types of armor. Not as much of a limitation as there is with like gear in FF14, but there's heavy, medium, and light armor. I mean, that makes sense though. I mean, that's fine. And does it happen where you end up getting lots of loot for other classes as you're going through? Or is it similar to like Final Fantasy XIV where when you finish a quest you get the choice of picking things? What you get is yours, and you can get different types. Okay. No, it definitely seems interesting. I would say I'm 99.9% sure I will end up playing it at some point in the next couple of months. By the end of the summer for sure. Because it does look very intriguing. And he didn't mention the glamour system in the game. So is it more streamlined than FF14's? Because FF14 seems to be the most cumbersome glamour system of all the glamour systems. It's better than 14's. Is it similar to how WoW's is with transmog? And like basically whenever you get the stuff, okay, you just kind of always have it as a glam? I don't have to go to this chest here. And then like, oh, look at all this stuff. Of which I'm sure most of this stuff I don't really need to be glammed. But I just didn't know what to do with it. And I wanted it out of my inventory. There's an extensive dye system too, huh? 400 or so, holy crap. Can you mix them too to just make like crazy ass colors? No? Okay. That'd be too crazy. And I would just end up making brown probably all the time. Let's mix these 5 colors together. Oh, of course it's brown. Alright. Well, I think that's where we're going to hang up the headset for tonight. It feels good to get to the end. But there's still so much more to do. And so, yeah, we'll keep checking back in with Final Fantasy XIV as time goes on. I know this will not be the last stream until November of this. That is for certain. I just need to figure out what I think would be the best stuff to do on stream to limit downtime as much as possible, and just what's interesting for people to watch, and what are the things that I want recorded, I guess would be part of it. I did have a lot of fun trying to do like Binding Coil unsynced. Maybe mess around with trying to do some of that stuff if I'm trying to get mounts from somewhere or something like that. Especially because we should try to do all the unsynced stuff before we get to Endwalker, when unsync's going to be a lot harder. So, yeah, I'll come up with a plan for that. And I'm sure in the next couple of weeks we'll do something else. Maybe do another crafting stream over one of the weekends coming up. And we'll just kind of go from there. So